is going on, everybody? Welcome to 5 Rounds, man. We're back again. We're back again on a Friday, 7 p.m. Bringing you the courtroom, guys. So today we have the courtroom. Oh, most importantly, I am Judge Montali, and we've got Nala, we've got Mpato, who are going to be the lawyers today. What's going on, guys? You good?
Bring it on.
Good.
Oh,
How you
good,
doing?
man. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Happy April Fools to all the people that like pranks and that. You know what I mean? You can't prank.
Do you know MP has been doing that all day. He's been trying to prank everybody all day long.
Daft. Text, man. Like, I forgot. At a certain point, I forgot, to be fair. I was like,
Really?
Yeah.
You still doing this, man?
The one that got me today was the Lad Bible. The Lad Bible. They posted a post there saying that Ireland is changing their currency to English pound. So that's what got me.
Never. Come on, you know that would never happen. I wouldn't even believe that, man. Yeah, I mean, cool. Let's carry on. So today is the courtroom, guys. All right. So normally we have a lot of people on for the courtroom, but it's cool. The show must go on. So what happens is we're gonna have one judge, right? We're gonna have two teams, so two lawyers. In this case, we got the team that's for and the team that's against. What's gonna happen is that's it. That what's gonna happen is, so the judge, myself, I'm gonna introduce a story to the guys for the first time. They won't know what story it is. I'll read it to them, summarize it. If they have questions, they'll give me their questions. Then I'll give them time to prepare their arguments, and then we'll get into it. So one side argues, the other side argues, and then we'll determine who wins. If we've got guys in the comments, you're gonna be the jury today. All right, so you guys are gonna determine who has won. If not, it's up to me. So I'm judge, jury, and everything today or something. You know what I mean? But guys, before we start, if you're new to the channel, just make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. We're not just putting this up as some sort of fancy thing, guys, all right? There's a tendency for YouTubers not liking videos, man. Guys, you know what your like does? Your like will show your friends what you like. You know what I mean? So if your friends if you like it, then maybe your friends might like it. So you can share this content together and interact with us. Do you know what I mean? While you're subscribed as well, we're a channel that gives back to our followers, So just last week, we gave some merch away. So you can see everyone here is wearing merch. We've got some pretty good merch. So we gave some merch away for free. We gave away like 40 euros to one of our, some of our subscribers. We had 5 winners we had, so yeah, man. So some good stuff to get. And then obviously the notification button is to catch us when we're live. We like to interact with you live. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing better than that. And we can put your input into the videos as well. Anyway, that's enough for me mumbling, guys. All right. We're gonna get straight into it, man. It's 5 Rounds podcast. It's the courtroom. It's about to go down.
Friday, case one.
And it's Friday as well. So case one, we have the Catholic priest on case one, right? I'm just gonna read that for you. Let me just arrange the screen right quick. All right, where the hell is the screen? There we go. Okay, just gonna present that. So case one, a Catholic priest, Reverend Father Charles M.C. I chose to remove his last name, all right, for the sake of obviously protection and stuff like that, of the Mzuzu Diocese in Malawi, has been criticized after a picture of him getting comfortable with his staff at Chikale Beach in Kata Bay emerged. The clergyman is captured at the shore of Chikale Beach with a lady identified as Grace M., one of his working staff at a church community radio station called Tigabane in the city Mzuzu. Both are captured in cozy outfits as they attended a beach party organized by the church. A beach party. Church. Right. It's very embarrassing, I tell you. The father might have forgotten his law of celibacy. The way he was holding and touching the lady in the water, it appears they are madly in love, said one woman, who did not want her name to be disclosed. Meanwhile, workers at the station have been complaining of going. Sorry, the writing has been terrible here. Have been complaining for months for going months without pay. And all right, I'm gonna butcher this.
Here we go.
A meager honorarium, saying the father uses the money meant for the running of this station for his own personal benefits, right? So we have the picture here, of said father at the said beach party with the said I guess partner,
lady,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So to get the facts straight here, there's a picture of a gentleman who has been identified as the father. So, and then the lady who's been identified as Grace, and people suggesting that they were holding, there was a little bit of romantic touching going on and all of this stuff, guys. All right. So that's the story here. The question for this story here is, do you think the priest is guilty? So do you think this priest is actually dipping into this young lady that is proposed to be in this affair? So, as I said, in the courtroom, we have two sides. Yeah, we have people who are going to defend the two sides of the story here. All right. One side is going to be the person that says, look, the priest is not guilty. The other side is going to say the priest is guilty. All right. So, what we're going to do here, actually, is I'll let you guys choose, or should we make it a little bit, interesting and ask the guys in the comments to choose for you?
Yeah, sure. Guys in the comments,
that's going to be interesting.
Okay, guys in the comments, right? The question is, do you think the priest is guilty, right? I need you to choose which side you want Nala and Patso to be on. So there's a side where you agree that this guy is guilty based on the picture, yeah. So you say, okay, I want Nala to be on the yes, she agrees the person's guilty, or I want Patso to be on the yes, agree, and then I want the other person to be on the disagree side. So I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to decide who should be on which side of the argument. You know what I mean? So if you even say just one person, then I'll put the other person on the other side of the team. So Nala on guilty. Bloom says Nala on guilty.
Bloom, come on now. Come on.
MP not guilty. Oh, we got my guy here, Mr. MP lookalike is in the building. Hey man. Hey, Friday. Hey man, Friday. You look like MP, my G. You look like Pato. You guys look the same. Jeez. Yeah. The case of the naked priest from Mr. True City Fan. Men versus the women. Oh, MP innocent, Nala guilty. Yo, this is gonna be interesting, Okay, let's do it.
I actually wish it was the other way around.
Yeah, I know, right? And actually, you know what, guys? Just to make it interesting, we'll make the women on the men's side and the man on the women's side. Let's do that, actually. So Nala, you are defending the priest, and MP, you need to tell us whether the priest. Well, you need to tell us why the priest is guilty. So, who wants to go first?
God damn.
I'll go first. Well, I'll go first.
I believe Nala needs to present the case to start defending herself, because this is me coming through.
Bloom says no. Bloom, I'm sorry. Let's create a twist in this. I'm the judge anyway. Let's put a twist in this. All right, cool. Nala, please.
Okay, first of all, what happened to guilty until proven innocent?
Innocent until proven guilty.
Oh, yeah, the other way around. It's been a long day. Okay? But what happened to that? How do we know that he's having a relationship with this girl? Have we seen them in bed together?
No.
So what proof do you have that he's sleeping around or he's having a relationship with this girl? So to me, I don't think he's guilty. I think this man is just a friendly man. I just think he's friendly.
Okay.
I just think he's friendly, unless you've seen him having sex with this woman, unless you've seen him kissing this woman, there's nothing he's guilty of. Nothing at all. They're just at the beach having fun. Okay? So I'm sorry, he's not guilty. Unless you actually catch him in the act of doing it, this man is not guilty. Thank you.
That's a good point. Bloom is still saying, look, I knew Nala wanted not guilty. That's why she picked the opposite. Bloom.
Baby girl, what's going on? I thought you're supposed to be on my side. What's happening?
What's with the agenda, Bloom?
Let's see.
Nala, don't even believe what she's saying. Oh my God. Okay, cool. So, Mr. MP, the floor is yours. So Nala says, "Look, can you prove that the man's guilty? You know, it don't look like it. Did he sleep with this woman? No. So,
Your Honor, first of all, to start with, Nala's statement there.
What?
Nala,
What?
you're talking about a relationship, right? As you can see, the report there says that there's a person, the unnamed person, that came forward to say, I've seen these, these two are acting very unusual, and seeing that everyone else saw them at the beach touching each other, I believe a priest is not supposed to touch any woman or any person sexually.
How do you know he was touching her sexually, though?
As you can see the picture, Your Honor, could you
He
present the
literally
picture
has
forward
his
there?
hand
I
on.
will present said picture here, please, to support your argument, sir.
He
Yes,
has
go
his
on.
hand on her shoulder.
I believe that
How is
hand
that sexual,
right
if
there.
I may
I
ask?
believe that hand right there is reaching closer to the woman's, private parts,
No,
that is a sign of getting way
speculation,
too comfortable.
Jesus is Lord.
No, he's speculating.
Yeah, that
Judge.
is true, Mr.
Yeah,
MP. Can you
speculation. I'm
please
sorry.
get to the point?
Oh, to skip to the point, as you can hear that, as we all learned that the staff have not received their pay for months. And we can see that the priest in this situation seems to be having a great time. And where can we say the money is going that they're receiving for time and everything else in the church?
Can I object
I believe
to
this
that?
man is hiding funds, and these funds are being spent on this woman and their good time.
You can object actually because he is giving his theory.
Sorry.
Go on.
So to put it forward to say, is the priest and the nun supposed to be together?
Whoa! She's not a nun. She's one of his employees.
Well, she's staff, yeah. Is she staff, yeah?
Yeah, she's one of his employees at a radio. So they have a radio station apparently.
All
so
right. Thanks for correcting me on that. So, are priests allowed to indulge in sexual activities?
They're not allowed to marry, so they have to swear celibacy.
There we
How
go.
do you know he's indulging in sexual activities, though? One, two. He's at a beach. They decided to go to a beach party or whatever it is.
Your Honor, I believe every
employees,
person. Objection. I believe every person has a personal space, and that reach right there to me looks as if it's more of implying that there is a sexual, affair between the two. So, I believe in this sense, the priest that we see there flexing with his lady staff is guilty of squandering money, church money, and going forward as well as, pretty much sinning. So that is guilty for me, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have a few things to say.
Yes, please.
First of all, is this not a church gathering that they are at?
Apparently, it is a beach party, a church beach party.
A church beach party, which means they invited all the members of his church, right?
Well, it doesn't state
employees.
It doesn't state on the, but we can go back to the document and just revisit that. It does not state that the members are there, but if we look here, so both are captured in cozy outfits as they attended a beach party organized by the church. Now, it doesn't say that the members are there, but it does say it was a beach party organized by the
Okay, so it was a church event, right? At the beach. And there's a comment there from 2 City Fan. He said, Mans is half naked, but he's at the beach. What do you want him to wear? A whole suit? I'm sorry. Like he's at the beach, first of all. You can't expect a man to be in a suit and then go into water and swim. Have you ever been to the beach swimming in full clothing? No. Thirdly, there's no sexual touch or whatever you think it is. There's nothing like that. So I don't understand where you're taking that from. I completely disagree. I'm sorry. I can't see any evidence that they're in a relationship together. All I see is two people in the water enjoying a good sunny day, and he's just holding her shoulder. That's all I see. Unless they're having sex and you have those pictures, unless he's kissing, you have those pictures, then you can go ahead and say that this man's guilty. But he's not guilty.
Whoa. Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, no. Is Miss Nala there, trying to imply to say, you can only prove that he's guilty if we present explicit content in this case.
This is what yes, Nala's team is suggesting. But
in this situation, sorry, Your Honor, in this situation, right, a priest, we all know, cannot marry in the first place, and as there is that rule to say they cannot engage in any sexual act, or be in that situation that he is right there that we see in the picture. So right there, you have your point already. He is guilty in this situation. That is a sexual act already. That's a reach.
No. No.
Oh,
can
tell
you
me,
define a sexual act
with a priest touching a lady in the way that he did that?
Priests touch people all the time. They'll touch you on the hand. They'll touch you on the shoulder.
Not reaching over closer to the.
They'll touch you on the
I'm
hand.
sorry, but I will not.
They'll pray for you and touch you on the head. So I don't know what your point is. This man is not being sexual towards this girl. If maybe his hand was slightly a little bit lower on her bosom area, then it would have been a different situation. But
are you ruling out the fact that the priest has not paid the staff and is still having a great time? That's a luxury time there.
It was a church event.
But they still haven't paid the staff.
It was a church event.
Okay.
That does not apply because the church is supposed to pay the staff.
Okay. Any more final arguments, before we determine this?
This man is not guilty. I'm sorry.
Not much.
This man is not guilty. I don't think he's doing anything wrong. He's at a church event. Okay. It actually blatantly states that he's at a church event. So he's at a church event. The people that are saying they haven't been paid, they could just be bitter about something. Okay, and could come up with things. Ooh. Thirdly, there's nothing sexual about this picture. They are at the beach. You can't expect a person to be in full clothing at the beach. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, excuse you. I could bring another religion in here, and they bathe in full clothes. So sorry to say that you have a mistake there.
Okay, what religion is it though, sir?
Well, as you can say, Muslims are, they have their clothing on, they hide, there are certain areas not to expose anything. So they safely to say they respect themselves. So they do not go over that limit.
But that's actually written in their religion. It's not written into this man's Christianity. There's nothing in Christianity that says that, oh, you cannot wear this when you're going to swim. There's nothing in the Bible that says that. So I don't know what you're.
Okay, guys, in the comments, who do you think won this argument? Do you think
actually it was Islam, not Muslims? Oh.
Do you think Nala protected the priests well by maintaining his innocence, or do you think MP did enough to prove the man is guilty? Guys, let us know in the comments. All right, and if you're watching this later, let us know anyway. So I'm just going to wait for the guys in the comments to tell us, and we're going to move on to the next story. Well, let me just check the comments real quick. Bloom says, Nala, I'm on your team, and not guilty was a win. But we move. Okay, so she wanted to set you up, huh? The priest is currently protected. So what? Okay. So I guess she goes for your team. Bloom showing a lot of favoritism here. What's going on?
Bloom is my girl. Do you not know this?
Favoritism. I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer, and then I will determine who has won this argument. Bloom can't be the only person that voted. Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, the second case we're going to go into is Lizzie Borden, a very, very controversial case, which presents quite a lot of arguments. Before we get into this case, I will I guess I'll tell you who's won the argument. This one, I think Nala won the argument on this one. MP came with some points to suggest, yes, the priest might have been touching him in a certain way, but it's very difficult to determine if the priest was touching him in a sexual way. As you know, priests, deal with emotions and all these things. I'm not saying at that point in time, did it justify him touching the woman, but it depends on the kind of relationship they have. In the picture, we only see somebody, I guess, being embraced by somebody else, which is what a priest can do. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Nala's argument about the beach party, it is possible that the people they knew were there. Yes, that's one argument. The other one was, I think, I guess we looked at the story itself, how it looks. I guess the argument about having a sexual relation, that one was a little bit weak, but still she had a few things to mention. Do you know what I mean? I guess you have to prove, the argument that I got from Nala is you have to prove that there is an affair there. Can you tell us that there is one or there isn't? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like this one was going to Nala, but she's just inched it. I'll be honest, she's just inched it. All right.
Let's get in it.
Let's go to the second case. I'm sure you're gonna get better luck with this case. Right. For those that are watching, guys, I must stress that this case is, it is a very, very
controversial one.
Yeah, it's controversial, and it can be it's a little bit brutal as well. So if you guys cannot handle certain things, do let us know. I am gonna try and speed through it. It's quite a long story, but guys, trust me, you're gonna love it. Okay, so this is the case of Lizzie Borden, right? So a Sunday school teacher. Oh, before I start, did you want me to send you a link to this case, or are you happy for me to read it to you?
Oh, go on and read it.
Cool.
I got my notes here. Yeah.
So cool. A Sunday school teacher, Lizzie Borden, became a media sensation when she was accused of murdering her father and stepfather with an axe. Stepmother, sorry. Yeah. With an axe on August 4th, 1892. In 1892, a grisly crime rocked the quiet town of Fall River, Massachusetts. Andrew Borden and his wife, Abby, had been found brutally murdered. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this here. They were axed to death, all right? Let me put it that way. While police didn't know who to blame first, suspicion soon fell on Andrew's 32-year-old daughter, Lizzie Borden. A spinster school teacher from a well-off family, Lizzie Borden seemed like the last person capable of committing a horrific crime, but cops struggled to find any other suspects in the murder case, and they. Sorry, I have to move because the light is in my way. So, and they couldn't help but notice that Lizzie's story kept changing. All right. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Ultimately, the young woman never admitted to committing the murders, but her 1893 trial captivated the entire nation. And while she was eventually acquitted, this only deepened the mystery. So what happened? At first, in August 4th, 1892, started out as a normal day at the Borden house in Fall River, Massachusetts. The family's maid, Bridget Sullivan, served breakfast to Andrew and Abby Borden, right? So that's the father and stepmother, while Lizzie slept upstairs. Before long, Andrew went to town, and Abby decided to straighten up the guest room in the home where Lizzie's uncle had slept the night before. The Bordens were a prosperous family and well respected in Fall River. Andrew had been married to his first wife, Sarah, until her death, and married his second wife a few years later. His two daughters, Emma and Lizzie, were known for being well behaved. So far we know there's a maid. We know they had a maid. We know they are well-to-do. And Andrew married twice. So he had a wife, the wife first, Sarah, and then he had a second wife named Abby. We also know he had two daughters, Emma and Lizzie. Okay, and they were obviously devoutly
Mm-hmm.
Christian. So the next part, right? But all was not well beneath the surface at Borden House. Although Abby had been their stepmother nearly all their lives, Emma and Lizzie didn't
Mm-hmm.
like her, and Lizzie really wanted the family to move to a nicer part of town. That August, tensions in the Borden family were particularly taut. Yeah. For one thing, it was extremely hot outside, and the Borden family had felt unwell for the past couple of days, perhaps because of bad mutton stew. So that's, goat for people that don't know, right?
Yeah.
Um, but by the morning of August 4th, everyone except for Sullivan, the maid, felt more or less back to normal. So after Borden left for town, Abby climbed the stairs to the guest room to make the bed and tidy up. So that's Abby, the stepmother. And
Mm-hmm.
in the oppressive heat of that August morning, right, somebody followed her.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, Andrew Borden returned from town. He asked Lizzie where Abby had gone, to which his daughter had replied Mrs. Borden had left the house. According to Lizzie, her stepmother received a note about a sick friend. Andrew believed the story. He settled down on the sofa in the sitting room as Sullivan, still feeling unwell, the maid, went to take a nap in her bedroom. But soon the maid was awoken by a scream. It was Lizzie Borden calling for Sullivan and crying that her father was dead. Shortly after the discovery of Andrew Borden's body, Sullivan fled the house to find a doctor. But so Sullivan, the maid, left the house to find a doctor. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, Lizzie's screaming had attracted the attention of several neighbors who called the police. Slowly, a curious crowd began to gather around the Borden residence.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Abby's whereabouts was still unknown. Lizzie Borden told her concerned neighbors the same story that she told her father, that her stepmother had received a note asking to visit to visit her, asking her to visit a sick friend. Lizzie also mentioned that her parents had been ill in the previous days and that she suspected that their milk had been poisoned. After Sullivan returned with a local doctor named Seabury Bowen,
Mm-hmm.
the maid went to see if Abby was upstairs and found her dead body lying face down. She was surrounded by a pool of her own blood. It was later determined that Abby Borden had been struck 19 times with a hatchet, and Andrew had been hit 11 times with the same weapon. While Andrew was hit fewer times, his corpse was extremely gruesome. Now, into the investigation. At
Mhm.
first, the police did not suspect Lizzie Borden. After
Mm-hmm.
all, she was a spinster and a Sunday school teacher from a respected family. Plus, Lizzie had sworn to the district attorney Hosea Knowlton that she had been in the barn looking for a piece of iron when the attacks took place. All right. So the cops initially believed the murders were perpetrated by a man, most likely a foreigner. So just a few hours later, they arrested an innocent Portuguese immigrant. But
Mm-hmm.
the assumption turned out to be one of the many dead ends. A bloody hatchet was found on a neighboring farm, but it had been used to kill chickens. A strange man was seen near the Borden's apartment, the Borden's property, at the time of the murders, but he had an airtight alibi. Meanwhile, Lizzie Borden's story kept changing. Her claim about searching for an iron soon shifted into one of eating pears in the barn loft. There was no physical evidence against her, not even a bloody scrap of clothing. But as the police investigated the double murder, they began to believe no one else could have done it. And what about the note Lizzie, her stepmother, claimed received? Abby had clearly never made it out of the house. So where was it? Lizzie told her friend, Alice Russell, that her stepmother may have accidentally burnt it. Investigations also discovered that the day before the murders took place, Lizzie had tried to buy poisonous prussic acid from a drugstore. She claimed that she needed it to put an edge on a seal skin shape. I don't know what that means, but the clerk had refused to sell it to her, saying that she needed prescription. And a few days after the murders, Russell saw Lizzie burning one of her dresses in the stove in her house. When Russell asked her why she was doing this, Lizzie said the dress was stained and could no longer be worn. On August 8th, Borden attended an inquest hearing during which she provided contradicting information about the murders, raising many eyebrows, and by August 11th, she was arrested and put in jail. I'm going to skip the trial part, all right?
Okay.
So now I wanted to ask you guys, right? Did Lizzie Borden kill her father and stepmother? If so, why? And if she didn't, who did?
Yes. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to be yes, she's guilty. She killed them both.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Guys, should we ask you guys in the comments once more, or do you guys want to choose which side you want to pick?
I chose my side.
Yeah. Actually, I'll let MP pick this time, because even when I let him pick, it's not a reward. I'll let you pick. So the facts of the story here, yeah, just to give you a quick summary, right?
Yeah.
Lizzie Borden, right, was part of a wealthy family. She was accused of murdering her family, right? She said she saw her father full of blood, screamed, maid came, called a doctor. By the time the doctor came, everyone was already there. Then the maid went to check if the stepmother was okay and found her dead upstairs. Then they discovered that the stepmother had died first, you know. And but Lizzie claimed that the stepmother wasn't even in the house, you know. So when they asked her, she said, "No, I went to get pears," and then later she said, "No, I was in the barn," you know. So the murder weapon is suspected to be an axe. Of course, they say it is an axe. Okay. Lizzie burns her dress because she believes it had paint on it. Okay. There are two dead people in her house who have been struck repeatedly, right? I'm asking you guys now, which side are you picking?
You know, this is an obvious one. You can just pull out, toss a coin, so it makes it more interesting.
Okay, you know what, Vanessa, you're gonna defend Lizzie, and MP, you're gonna prove she is guilty.
Fine. Let's hit it.
All right, go on. So
who
should we start? So we're gonna start with you, of course, MP. So I'm guessing you think Liz is guilty and she killed her parents, right? Why do you think that?
All right. So let's just play it backwards and see what we have, right? Looking at this, Your Honor, it's the loads of distractions that she had presented, she had, you know, showcased in this situation, because first of all, her story kept on changing, right? And secondly, we're going with the fact that she sent off the maid, right? She sent off the maid to put a distraction. She had also sent off people to, you know, put off that distraction of she wants to, you know, commit this crime and make sure that no one notices what's going on. Thirdly, we're going to the situation that she went to the drugstore. She wanted to purchase poison there, and as well as, you know, a few items to clean up her mess, right? But she was refused. This shows an intent to say you're about to commit something and you know what's going on. In this case as well, we learned that, you know, the family had, you know, a bad taste or something like that, and, you know, on the night before, and right? And we don't know how that happened, but we can assume that she had, you know, found a way to poison her family in this situation already, but it didn't work. And then she went forward to, kill them, to commit the murder the next day. But as we can follow up the story, she was in the house when her mother got murdered. That was in the early hours. And when her father came through, she pretended that all of this, she didn't hear of anything, of any strikes or any, sounds of panic or any sounds of, pain and stuff like that.
His internet acting.
Say what?
I think we've lost Nala.
We've lost Nala, have we?
Yeah, I think we have. Continue.
All right. So just to continue, she was in the house when her mother got murdered. And then her father came through. She pretended as if she didn't know anything that was happening in the house. And then that happened as well. To make it more interesting, why did she burn her dress?
But she said because
if she wasn't the one that did it, she just made it worse to put herself as the major suspect, because she burnt the evidence. So why put away the evidence for just paint on your dress?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were saying that. So what are you implying here? Are you implying that she was acting as if she's somebody who was covering? What are you implying? That's what
she was covering her. She was covering her steps there. She was covering all her evidence, and she made sure that all of that was put away. And if it was in the present time, Your Honor, it would have been an obvious case to say fingerprints and all of that, and they would have traced everything. But we are looking at times that the technology wasn't really advanced, and it was word of mouth of certain cases. And in this situation, we can see that the evidence in that time wouldn't have been so solid. At this time, we can look at it to say, if you burn the dress and if your stories are all mixed up over time, you are the main suspect and we're going to press on you, and you should be able to answer all these questions, but you're not able to answer all the questions in the same context that you did before. So you are guilty for this situation.
So we have heard from Mr. Pato, who believes Lizzie is guilty and is trying to prove that Lizzie is guilty. What are your thoughts, Nala?
Your Honor, sir, I don't think she's guilty.
Okay.
I don't think she's guilty. Yes, she burnt her dress, but like the story states, she burnt it because there was paint all over her dress. And maybe that was her favorite dress and she just didn't want to have it anymore. She was disappointed that there was paint on it. And you said something about her going to buy poison in the store, and that's intent to kill somebody. You go to the store and you can buy poison for rats. You can buy poison to kill off weed in the yard. So just because she went into the store to buy poison doesn't mean she has intent to kill her parents. And thirdly, she grew up in a happy home with so much money. What reason would she need to kill her parents for? And yeah,
go on. Yeah, go on. That's a good. Go on anyway.
What reason would she need for her to kill her parents? What would she gain from killing her parents if her parents were gonna be gone and she won't stand a chance to have that same lifestyle that she had when they were there? So what would she gain? She was a spinster. And she was a spinster, okay? And she lived at home. So that would mean that she would have to fend for herself. She had everything handed to her. She was at home living with her parents. She didn't need to pay bills at the time, I suppose. So if she killed her parents, then she would have to work for that. She would have to find her own place. She would have to fend for herself. Okay, that's one of my arguments. And then as well, you talked about how she changed her stories over and over again. She could have been going through so much trauma. Seeing her parents act like that could have been trauma. You're bound to change your stories because, I mean, you just seen your dad in blood on the floor. How would you be able to come up with this story and then the next point, it's just a traumatic experience for her to go through. So I completely disagree with you, MP. I really think that this woman just went through a lot and she had nothing to gain from killing her parents. And I feel like at the end of the day, the reason why her stories changed so much was the fact that she just went through much trauma with seeing her stepmom being murdered, and then to see her dad being murdered, and to see her dad in cold blood. So I don't think she murdered her, Mr. Judge, sir.
Okay. I wanted to also just add in a little bit more information to this case that is not in that reading, but it's definitely in this case, right? So, yes, they were a wealthy family, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is they lived I think there was a certain part in that scripture that said Lizzie wanted them to move elsewhere, you know. It says it in there. Just wanted to point that on that point, they were wealthy, but they were not living wealthy. So they decided to live a basic life, simple life. Even though the father was rich, apparently he was worth about 15 million in this time. They chose not to live wealthy. All right. I just wanted to put that in there because the information is there.
But was the daughter not living in the house for free?
Yes, she was. So that is true.
Okay. Yeah. So what would she gain by killing her dad if she was living in the house rent free? Everything paid for, food's paid for, bills are paid for. Why would she go ahead and remove the source of income?
Okay.
Can I just add on to my points there? I just remember that in the incident, right, the murder happened and she was in the house. It just reminds me that in the situation that she was in, she mentioned that she saw an identified person, right, that did all this, right? And in this situation, she more of decided to be in the house alone and send off people outside to look for this person. In this case, the murderer would have been in the house or would have been close by.
Yes,
and
just
you telling me that she was trauma, like she was in trauma and she wouldn't act in?
She did not. Okay, let me clear that point too. She did not send anybody outside the house. All she implied was her stepmother got a note from a friend saying that one of her friends is sick. She got a note saying one of her friends is sick, basically. That's it. She did not send anyone. Even when the maid went to get the doctor, the maid went to get the doctor. Basically.
But who was she with by the time that the maid went out?
She was on her own. So she was on her own.
And as well. But before that, wasn't the maid outside cleaning the windows?
No. So before the murders, the maid was sleeping. She was unwell. So she was sleeping in her room.
In the house.
In the house, yes.
So you're telling me the maid could not have heard this woman screaming when she was being attacked by her stepdaughter?
Well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mr. MP, have you got anything to add at all?
To my surprise, it sounds like the maid didn't know anything. So in this case, I would say the person that remained in the house is a person that was really, really sure of what is happening around. Because why would you send off someone else and not act in the sense of, you know what, we need to walk out because we don't know what's happening in this house. We need to be safe together because my parents have been murdered. We need to find a safe place and then we can call the police. But she decides to stay in the house. Why would you stay in the house where, there's fear looming around? Why would you stay in a house that you're not sure who's in the house? Yourself, Nala, would you be standing in a room full of someone else's body there in a pool of blood? Would you be standing in that room just waiting for the police? Or would you walk out, find safety and, figure out yourself?
Yes, I would stand in a room because that's your parents you're seeing there. You're worried whether they're alive or not. You would be worried. You're not going to run out to see if you can find somebody else. If you've sent somebody else to get help, you would want to be there to make sure that they're still holding on to life. I'm sorry, but your argument, I'm sorry, I disagree.
I can tell you this. The mother was unresponsive. For the past hour that she was there in the pool of blood, unresponsive. The father finds her there, right? And then the father dies hours later. Those are two different deaths. And she's in the house. She pretty much is trying to figure out what's happening to her mother, then her father.
Yes.
That is something very interesting. I would have reported the first minute that I know that my mother is dead.
But she didn't know.
There you go. How would she have known? She's not a doctor.
Oh,
She
my
didn't.
God.
She didn't. Okay, so the what we read tells us that she only discovered her father was dead. In her mind, according to her, she said her stepmother was not home. So.
And that her stepmother had walked away because she got a note.
That left.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Wow. A note. Where is the note? Did they find the note?
So, investigations say that Lizzie said her mother. It says in that thing as well. Lizzie said her mother burnt the note as well, accidentally.
Oh my gosh!
This is what is written in that script.
My question is: her mother receives the note, burns the note, and she didn't know where the mother was.
This is what the story says. Yes.
She's an impulsive liar, Your Honor, and I believe I will not take it.
Okay.
She is guilty.
Any closing arguments before we determine?
No, I'm good. I've said my piece.
Said your piece. Okay. No, very, very good argument, guys. This is a very difficult one to defend, but it is defendable. It is defendable. So look, very good story, very good arguments. Guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. Do you think that MP won this by proving that Lizzie is guilty? Did Nala prove that Lizzie is not guilty? That she did not kill her parents. Guys, let us know in the comments as well. I will let you know what I think based on the arguments, and then we'll now speak about the actual story and how it panned out, because I'm sure everybody wants to know. So based on the arguments, I'm gonna go with MP on this one, on Patso on this one.
Yes.
This one was hard. Nah, this one was even when you were like, I was like, God damn it, this guy.
It was a hard one to determine, but Patso hit some very good points. He went with the dress, he went with the notes, he went with the fact that everything seemed to revolve around Lizzie. Why is it that there were certain events going on and Lizzie was the only person who knew, but then she didn't have any evidence to point to whatever she was saying? So it is very suggestive to say somebody's trying to cover something up or trying to twist the story here, cause sort of confusion, because at first, remember, they didn't believe it was her. One can suggest that she helped with the investigation. If she knew the cops were going the wrong way, why didn't she just say, look, I think you're going the wrong way. I know for sure it's not whoever or whatever it is, right? So good argument there, MP. Vanessa tried. She fought.
I tried. I was like, towards the end, I was like, I've lost this one.
It was a good argument though, to say, look, she lives with her parents, and in that time, I don't think women were working at that time, were they? So she's depending on her parents. Obviously, they're wealthy, yes, but her parents are her protection and all these things. Why should she all of a sudden kill those people? What motive would that be? That was another good argument. Now, guys, what do you think happened in the trial? Do you think she was found guilty or not guilty? Now, just based on your opinion, what do you think? And then I'll tell you what happened.
I think she was found guilty. I mean, the evidence on this case was just too much.
Mad. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, MP?
I think first case she was found guilty, not guilty, but then after a retrial, I think she was found guilty.
Okay. MP is right about one thing. She was acquitted. She was not found guilty.
Oh, really?
She was acquitted of this murder. But
on what basis, though?
Reasonable doubt. So so the defense went for reasonable doubt to say, can you prove that she actually did this crime? Can you show, because the murder weapon was never found, you know.
Yeah.
So that's difficult. You can't
Yeah.
convict someone without a murder
Without a
weapon.
murder weapon.
So you know, they couldn't prove that she did it.
Yeah.
You know, simple as that. Yes, she burnt her dress, and obviously the argument was, oh, but why would you burn your dress? Back in those days, they would make rags and all these things. But the argument was, she's rich, she can do whatever she wants. You know what I mean? So, um, the other one was to say, look, why would somebody who looks like her and is like her commit such crimes? Because when they
Yeah.
presented the skull, which is the people that were prosecuting her presented the skull of her father and her mother to show how bad the injuries were, she fainted. You know, whether that was an act or not, it worked in her favor.
Yeah.
You know, um, in those days, apparently this is what, like, the biggest case of the 19th century, this case, right?
Oh,
she
really?
she ended up inheriting her parents' wealth along with her sister. She also ended up leaving that neighborhood and built her own house somewhere,
The
and
one that she wanted to be alone in.
she died of sickness. So in my mind, when I read the whole thing, the whole story, I don't know if she's the only one who committed the crime. You know, MP alluded to it, the maid.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about the maid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The maid was sleeping, okay, but was she? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The maid went to get the doctor. Okay, fine. That's the first. For me, I felt like, how would the maid not hear these things? Somebody was getting beaten 19 times, another one 11 times, and you're sleeping. How much deep sleep do you have to be in? And then she hears
Yeah.
the screams. How far between did these things happen? You know? And then the stories, the maid and Lizzie's story, they made sure that they married up, you know? So there were suggestions that they were having a thing going on, those two. Those are some of the suggestions, right? But there was also a suggestion that there was somebody else involved. So somebody must have been in the house waiting, committed the crimes in between these guys moving around, must have known these guys, because what was suggested was the father was struck in his sleep. You know, he was laying on his sofa. They found him dead there. The woman was struck in the guest room. She must have known this person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she was struck in the face, you know. So that was the suggestion. It's a very interesting case to read, guys. If you have time, go and read it. Apparently, there's a movie called Lizzie about it as well. When I was researching it, I checked it out. But yeah, guys, go and check that out. It was a very interesting read. So I thought I'd bring it to you guys. Very hard to defend. Very hard to defend, but possible to defend. That's why I brought it in. You know?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So next story and last story. This one is more of a. It's not an argument in a sense. It's more of a, you know, I'll read the story actually. It's just a little bit of a twist just to soften things up a little bit. So I got this off Reddit. Very interesting story. It says, look, I am 25, a male. I own and live in a house with my brother, 24, male. He recently moved his girlfriend in as arranged. They've now told me they're actively trying for a baby. This is the heading of it. As I've mentioned, my brother and his girlfriend want to have a baby, and I don't want to have to deal with a baby in the house. They mentioned the baby could have the spare room, but I know the whole house will become a nursery. I also know babies enjoy screaming late at night, right? Late at night and making a mess. I also commute far to work and know that this would be unwanted stress to come home to. All right. Then he goes to think I need to have a discussion with my brother and say that if they have a baby, then I don't want to live here. You know, I don't want to live here for that reason. I know they wouldn't. I know they won't be able to buy me out of the house because his girlfriend has just moved in, and I think they'll be adamant they want me to stay. I'm on good terms with my brother, so don't want to fight it out. Trying to get him to sell if he doesn't want to. So if he doesn't want to do so, I'm at a loss of what to do now. I could move back to my parents, but I like my freedom right now. Any help would really be appreciated. Thank you. So I wanted to ask you guys, right, about this one. What's the best advice you'd give this guy and why? The best advice wins, to be honest. So who wants to go first?
rip the band-aid off. Like I'm sorry, but I feel like sometimes you just need to let the next person know that this is not going to work. Because at the end of the day, you know what's going to happen? They're gonna end up fighting and it's gonna be even worse. So he should just tell him straight off the bat that, yo, this is not gonna work. Our original plan was A, B, C, D. And secondly, when you're trying to start a family, are you not supposed to be in your own space? Is that not what's supposed to happen? Not sharing with another person? Because having a baby is a lot of responsibility. And if someone is not ready for that, is not ready for the crying, the baby stuff all over the place, this person has lived on his own. He's had his own space and not have a baby, or even he doesn't even live with his girlfriend, does he?
No.
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 So
He's
the
on his own.
reason for that, maybe he just really likes his space. So I feel like he should just rip off the band-aid and just tell his brother that, yo, I love you. I'm doing this because I love you, but I think you need to find your own space. If this is the case that you want to have a baby, you want to start planning for a baby, it's time for you to find your own place. I'll help you out, whatever it is that you need, but this is not going to work.
Okay. So find his own place, as in, should they sell the property? Should they
Mhm.
what happens? Does he leave? Does the couple leave and he stays on his own, or does the guy leave and the couple stays, or what's the practical solution?
Who bought the place in the first place? Is
They
the
both
guy?
did.
They
The
both did.
brothers.
Oh.
The brothers own the property.
Mhm.
So the brother brings the girlfriend and says, "I'm going to have kids," and the younger brother says, "No." He says, "I can't have it."
Yeah.
So yeah. So you're saying
Yeah.
he should go?
Yeah. He has to cut his losses. He just has to cut his losses and leave, or maybe come up with a plan that he will get paid. I don't know. Have a monthly payment. I don't know. But if he tells his brother that he can't be in that house and his brother has to leave, that's not gonna work. They're gonna fight it out. I just feel like he just needs to be open and honest with his brother and just tell him that this is not going to work. And they have to come up with an arrangement or a plan that, yo, I'm going to move out. You guys can have the house. I'll move out. You can pay me a certain amount every month. And that's how you'll be able to buy me out of the house.
Okay.
I feel like that's the best way he can do that.
Okay, Mr. Pato.
God damn, well, Nala's spilled everything. Like she's pretty much hit every single point that would be put out there. Uh, well, it depends on where you are in the world, man. I think it depends where you are in the world. If you buy a house in certain neighborhoods that are really expensive, and you're looking at this and saying, I invested all of this with my brother. Um, is there a chance for you two to say, we can rent it out and we can all just live separately, where we earn money off this house and then start off from there to say, with your family that you're starting with, what you're earning and what you have with your missus, you could actually live in a home of your own and I could live somewhere as well. So we can rent it out and then we can, start off from there. Any little that we make, we can, advance from there. Because then having a family and then having your brother or some other person to be a part of it, there is a huge responsibility. And if there's work involved that you need to always be up early, have to start off, go somewhere and get there, there is that fatigue that's going to hit you. And living together and trying to split bills and all that, and the drama that comes in and around the time of maternity and all that, there is a lot that happens in a relationship. And this is something that it's all unprecedented. You both don't know what the other person is going to do, the third person is going to do. And on top of it, when you have when they have a baby, you don't even know what reactions are going to come out of it, because mothers are very protective in nature. And there might be a conversation of, I think I'm not comfortable being myself and with your brother in the same space. I think we need our own space. They will have those bedroom talks, and those bedroom talks are really heavy. The brother wouldn't know how to take it and how to treat his brother moving forward, because they invested this together. But then what is he going to do? Because he has to protect his family as well, like, so that's a very difficult situation. But when it comes to investments and partnering with families, there's always a limit to it. You have to put a limit to it. And the brother that's there, single and trying to figure out life, I think it's going to be a burden to him. And the best thing is to sell, and then they can all benefit from like the rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
And what would you
interesting.
say yourself, Judge?
Very interesting arguments. Maybe first I should, this is a tough one, man. It's a tough one. And I guess it might be a little bit unfair if let me just look at the arguments, to be honest. I'll look at the arguments. Nala's argument of the guy moving and move, let it go,
and get a payment out. No, you're getting it wrong. Make an arrangement. You get a payment out every month. I don't know whether it's a certain payment that the brother and his wife can do.
Okay.
And he moves out. He finds his own space.
That's another legal processing altogether.
But the brother's about to have a kid, though. So his expenses are about to go up. So what makes?
That's why I said they will agree to a certain payment.
Okay. How many times have we heard this before between families? Agree to make a certain payment, and then bills happen, children get born. Oh, it's twins. Oh no, I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Well, what do we do then? What do we do then?
That's why you bring in lawyers. That's why you bring in
with your own brother.
Yeah. Do you not know this?
I'm just asking. I'm asking.
Yeah, people do this. It's just to make sure that the next person actually holds up the end of the deal.
Okay.
It's nothing personal. It's just business at the end of the day.
It's a lot.
Oh my goodness. Like, think about it. I'm letting you have the house, right? I'm moving out. I'm taking myself out of this situation and telling you that for a fee, you can have the whole house, but you can pay me a certain fee at the end of the month and you have the house. Isn't that not like being so generous?
That's extra expenses, man. That's extra expenses. Like, you have to.
So does the brother still own the house, though, even though you're paying him a fee, or are you buying him out?
Buying him out.
Okay, so you're going for the buyout option.
Yeah, buy him out.
I'm going for the investment option. You have to all win,
So in the story, he said, I know they won't be able to buy me out because his girlfriend has just moved in, and I think they'll be adamant they want me to stay. So by saying this, I think I can look. This might be suggestive, but I think the boyfriend hasn't fully involved his girlfriend in the financial aspect of maintaining this house. So there is a financial agreement between two brothers, but not between the brothers and the girlfriend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what I can see from this story, basically. So based on that, are you still standing with the advice?
Nah. Nah, because I forgot that part where you're saying that he couldn't buy him out. I forgot about that part.
Me too.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that part. I think MP's argument where he says that he can sit down with his brother and try and get someone to rent out the house, I think that would be a great idea. Absolutely. And then everybody just goes their separate ways and they're making money out of that. I think that would be an amazing idea.
I think that's, for me, that's what I agree with on a personal term, and also in the way he argued the story, right?
Yeah.
I think you would want to explore the possibility of renting this place out, but maybe renting it out to somebody familiar to you. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit easier.
That's a bad idea as well. Renting it out to a person that's familiar with you, trust me, that's a bad idea. You'd rather rent out to a stranger. Listen, you'd rather, trust me, MP knows what I'm talking about.
But you just said that it's okay for two brothers to have an arrangement where one moves out and the other pays a fee.
Yes.
Now you're saying it's a bad idea.
No, what I think is a bad idea is the fact that you want to get somebody else that you know to rent out the place. Remove the brothers, remove myself from the situation, and get someone like a friend to rent out the house. And then it should be paying you. But we all know that friends, when they fall in hard times, they'll be like, yo, I'm not gonna make it for rent this month. Can I actually just pay you next month?
But so will brothers, though. So will
Nah.
brothers. Yes, they will. Your brother will come to you and say, I can't pay you. I'm still your brother, but I can't pay you. What are you going to do about it?
Just came through.
Exactly. The twins just came through. I got to pay that twin money, bro. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's why you get the lawyers involved.
What if your brother comes to you and say, are you going to let your twins, your nieces and nephews or whatever, sit on the streets? You know what I mean?
You should have thought of that when you were having the kids.
You capping, fam. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, I would go for the rent thing, and then if that doesn't work, to sell the house, start again, sell the house, split it in half. You know what I mean? Because again, you got to look at the fact that this financial agreement started with the two. Now there's going to be another person involved. You know, automatically there's another person involved who never really signed any documents, might cause some problems, right? So why not just cut your losses, split it in half, everybody goes their own way, you know? Because even the rent thing, trust me, at some point, the wife will be like, we are the family. We need a house. Why don't we just move? I'm telling you, you'd still have that problem. So split it in half. Get out of there. Basically.
Get out of here,
Drop
man.
the goods, yeah.
You can remortgage. You can do that. You know, so he could remortgage. You could just say, look, let me just remortgage this house and get my bit. I'm out. So,
you start all over.
Yeah, man. I thought I'd end it on an easy note.
That's a good one as well.
Considering,
I like the Lizzie one and the brothers one there. That's really good.
You like the Lizzie one because you won,
yeah?
You won. Of course.
No.
You didn't like that one. He didn't like the first one.
Watch what's that? Is that a series or a movie? I'm gonna watch the movie.
Lizzie. Yeah. I want to watch it as well because I saw the trailer and I was like, ooh, very suggestive. But check it out. So we're gonna bow out in this very moment, actually, guys. Again, I'm gonna repeat this. If you're new to this podcast, guys, if you are new, make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and then you hit the notification button, So basically, for you to join the squad, join the community, guys, you need to do that for us, man. It also
Bloom is still here.
It also shows your support. Here we go. Bloom is back. So yeah, guys, we hope you liked the stories. You like the courtroom, right? This is the third installment of the courtroom. If there are any stories you want us to speak about, maybe give our opinions on, guys, send them to us. All right, we're always looking for some very interesting stories as well. Other than that, I've got nothing else. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add at all?
Have a good weekend, guys.
Have a good weekend, guys. Make sure you watch our content. We did one last week about why people are getting divorced. I feel like it's something people need to talk about. If you haven't watched that, go and check it out, all right? Because literally we spoke about why. We want to know, man. Some of us want to know. Yeah, man. So, guys, we'll see you later. It's 5 rounds. Take it easy.
All right, 5 rounds.
Peace.
Thank you.